Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thank you for joining us again on CoreTV News. I am Frank Manape. Nigeria's military says troops have retaken Chibok from Boko Haram a few days after the insurgents took over the community. Defense headquarters disclosed this in a series of tweet messages for its Twitter handle. It said troops have not only pushed out the insurgents but are also carrying out mopping up operations. Defense spokesman General Kwiso Lukolade had that special forces are pursuing the fleeing insurgents, but there is still no independent confirmation of the report. Boko Haram insurgents took over Chibok early on Friday morning. President Goodluck Jonathan on Saturday said the federal government was determined to liberate all territories occupied by Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast. Jonathan gave the assurance at the launch of the presidential initiative for the northeast in Maiduguri, represented by the Minister of State for Power, Muhammad Wakil. Jonathan said government was in the process of deploying more troops and resources to ensure quick liberation of the occupied territories. He said government will unveil a master plan for the rehabilitation, reconstruction and redevelopment of the area soon after the insurgents had been dislodged. The president added that government had introduced numerous intervention programs to alleviate the sufferings of the people affected by the insurgency. He named some of them to include the presidential initiative for the Northeast, headed by the National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki, and the Presidential Committee on Distribution of Relief Materials, headed by NEMA Director General Malam Sani Seid, among others. Ahead of the 2015 general elections, the National Task Force on Illegal Importation of Small Arms and Light Weapons has raised the alarm over the increasing number of illegal borders currently being used to smuggle dangerous weapons into the country, which it said has hit 6,000. The organization said it was willing to partner security operatives in the country and protecting the borders across the country. The Director General of the NACS Force and former presidential candidate of African Liberation Party at the 2011 elections, Emmanuel Osita Okereke, expressed this concern during an interview with journalists in Abuja. While commenting on these current security challenges in the Northeast, he urged President Goodluck Jonathan to check the allegiance of his service chiefs and advisors following the attacks in the Northeast. He alleged that security chiefs and those advising Jonathan on security matters may have been sabotaging his effort to wipe out ourselves in the area. Sultan of Sokoto Saradat Bakaro and Catholic Big Archbishop of Sokoto Diocese Matthew Susan Kuka have stated that Nigeria would not disintegrate because of crises which are being anticipated during the 2015 general elections. According to them, Nigeria will remain united no matter the drums of war being beaten by some persons who do not wish the country well. They, however, call on Nigerians across ethnic and religious diversities to work towards sustainable dialogue, reconciliation and peace. The Sultan, represented by the Adoma of Doma in Nasarawa State, Amado Aliyu Ogananao, and Kuka, stated this during a roundtable on rekindling the spirit and culture of voluntarism in Nigeria and public presentation of a book entitled Peace and Reconciliation, a Nigerian conversation jointly organized by Kuka Center and the Department of Mission and Dialogue Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria. The monarch said the ordinary man in Nigeria loves this country, and the ordinary man in Nigeria believes in the indivisibility of this country. The ordinary man in Nigeria believes that Nigeria must remain one and united always. The National Chairman of Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Atahiru Jega, said has confirmed the arrest of the two INEC ad hoc staff for carrying out a house-to-house registration of voters in Kano State. CoreTV News gathered that the arrest was carried out with the involvement of operatives of the Department of State Service, DSS, and the police in Kano. The resident electoral commissioner for Kano State also confirmed the arrests affected at a polling unit in the Kabo area of the state. The two arrested individuals have, however, been granted bail. The Director General of the DSS, Ekpeyong Ita, was said to have alerted Jega, who confirmed that arrest and assure that the replacement for the two staff involved was already on. Jega insisted that the offenders will be prosecuted. And away from that now, the Okot party is demanding a rerun of the August 9, 2014 governorship election that returned Alvaro Egweshola as the governor of Osun State. According to the party and its governorship candidate at the election, Ni Owolade, the poll was fraught with irregularities in all the 30 local government areas of the state, hence the call for a rerun. The petitioners presented photocopies of certified true copies of forms ECA8 series as exhibits before the tribunal over the weekend. Counsels to Governor Alvaro Egweshola and APC picked roles in the documents presented by the Okot party, but allowed the tribunal to accept them as exhibits in order to fast-track the hearing.
My prayers is that there should be a rerun. We're challenging the elections in all the 30 local governments. Ours is different. Ours is unique. Because I was going through, I saw the PDP's petition last week, and I realized that they were challenging 17 or something like that. Ours is the 30, and our own main prayer is that there should be a rerun.
What they have brought today is a photocopy of a certified copy. In the case of Yola Omishore and Aregbesola, which came up yesterday, they tendered the certified copy that had the original stamp of INEC. That is what the case of Owolade has now reproduced as a copy, which they are now tendering today. And we have noticed some manipulations. So upon which we are saying that this cannot be the certified copy of the original.
I can tell you without fear of contradiction that the Supreme Court has held in countless cases that the photocopy of a certified true copy is a photocopy of an authentic document. That objection, respectfully, does not have any merit.
Thank you. Your name, sir.
The petition of the Okot party against the victory of Aregbesola is being heard alongside that of the PDP and its governorship candidate in Yola Omishore. You're still watching CoreTV News and the Hour. We'll take a break. Shortly, we'll be back with more stories. Do join us again.
I've been foreseeing it as a form of jamboree. It's a normal thing we have been experiencing it in the past. If you look at the Obasanjo regime, they did the same. But what's the outcome of it?
We cannot do without our health. If it's necessary, they should do it.
When you are a small child, your children, they went to a free school, this year. But now, why they cannot put the money up like that?
They are there making laws, chopping money over there. You are sending somebody to unknown area to go and fry the Boko Haram. It's not possible.
Because it's their work they receive. Try and know their problem, what they really want in this country, and settle them.
At this particular period in time, because it will not pay the government.
You can't predict Nigeria. Nigeria, they know their way out.
If they, telling people, say, oh, can't do this, they will follow.
Because the people that we have on ground, what are they actually doing?
This man, Opara, decided before, make Northers go, make Easters stay. Yeah?
You women are bringing the problem. Women are wearing trousers. Deuteronomy said that no woman should wear woman's shirt. No man should wear woman's shirt. God is annoyed with people.
The People, only on CoreTV News.
For updates on our news and other programs, visit our social media platforms. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News and our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. You can also log on to youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space, the news. As the fallout of the World Congresses of the PDP in Rivers State continues, the leadership of the party in the state has won its governorship and other aspirants to play by the rules and be guided by the provisions of Article 58, Section 1 of the party's constitution of 2012 as amended. The state chairman of the party, Felix Obua, in a statement signed by his special advisor on media, Jeremy Nedam, called on governorship aspirants and other aspirants on the platform of the party to stop making statements that will bring the name of the party into disrepute, threatening that disciplinary actions will be taken against errant members. Obua, who was reacting to a statement credited to some party or aspirant of the platform of the party, says the party has decided not to zone the governorship of the party for the 2015 election. Obua also reminded the aspirant that the party is superior to individuals and would not cease to conduct its programs and activities according to the provisions of its constitution. A federal high court in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, hearing the case instituted against the management of the Obafemi Awolowo University, has directed the school to settle out of court with the rusticated students. The student had challenged what they term illegal rustication by the school in court. Meanwhile, counsel to the university had before the order told the court that the school did not rusticate the student. A correspondent, Rashid, encounters the counsels on the directive and finds in this report.
Great effect, great, I love you. There's only one great effect in the universe.
That's the mood at the Federal High Court sitting in Osogbo when the case involving the management of the Obafemi Awolowo University and the students came up for hearing during the week. Olajuwon and other 8 students had dragged the school authority before the court for illegal rustication over their participation in a protest. Justice Babs Kwewumi directed the matter to be settled out of court. The police also denied ever investigating the students, while the school authorities denied rusticating Juwon and the 8 others in the first place.
There was no time they investigated Sanyaolu Olajuwon. The counsel to the university authority in Viva Voce said there was no time the applicant, that's Sanyaolu Olajuwon, was sent away from school. The court, as a parent, advised that the matter be resolved among parties.
The case of the student is being looked into, and the position of the court and of the council is that we should resolve this matter out of court.
In making sure all parties see to the settlement within a reasonable period of time, the court ordered that the settlement report be brought to its notice as the school speaks on its demand from the affected students.
The court directed that we should come back on the 4th of December 2014 to report settlement, possibly to withdraw the processes and have the case struck out, or to report to the court the situation of whatever discourse we have engaged in.
We are hoping that the 2 parties cooperating together, this matter should be resolved out of court. And we are coming back to report the out-of-court settlements at the next adjourned date. So we are asking for an undertaking for good behavior. It's as simple as that.
One of the affected students, Sanyaolu, speaks on his expectation from the school authorities.
As long as I'm back on campus, and the management does not continue in its act of, with chanting students, activists, no more. So there's no issue with that.
Many are already looking out to the out-of-court settlement to bring in the desired relief. Rashid, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
Rivers State has announced a donation of 5,000 complete set of personal protective equipment to ECOWAS in support of member states affected by Ebola virus disease. Health Commissioner Samson Parker announced the donation on behalf of Governor Rotimi Amechi when he received an ECOWAS delegation in Port Harcourt at the weekend. He also disclosed that the state is contributing 100 volunteers, health workers to the pool of 500 pledged by Nigeria to assist ECOWAS countries affected by Ebola. Lagos State is also contributing more than 200 of the Nigerian volunteers due to travel to their respective countries of assignment. The ECOWAS team is in Nigeria to document the country's success in stemming the tide of the virus that has killed 5,000 lives from the 13,000 confirmed cases since the outbreak. The street kids phenomenon is increasingly attracting attention worldwide in Nigeria. The case is no different except that the attention it's attracting is less driven by government, thus leaving the major part to unscrupulous bodies in the name of non-governmental organization with selfish interests. A correspondent, Samia, recently went in search of street kids in Nasarawa State and returned with these disturbing tales. The report.
These children are in Lafia, all the way from some communities in Katsina State. They have traveled thousands of kilometers, supposedly in search of knowledge. But they are on the streets, hanging around restaurants to pick the leftovers of customers' meals. Looking so sick, this 9-year-old boy says he has not eaten for hours. He says his parents brought him from Katsina, but he hasn't seen them in the last 4 months. The only thing he knows is the Quranic education, and that is why his parents brought him to Lafia.
I have spent 4 months in Almajiri school. My parents brought me here to study. I was not brought here to study Western education. We get food sometime when we go out, and we reserve some with our teachers.
In spite of fending for themselves, they are still clearly kids. With toy guns in their hands, they play cops and robbers. But on Thursdays and Fridays, these boys leave the local Almajiri school to go in search for food and money. Most times, they get little or nothing to fall back on.
When we go out, we get money. We keep some and use some. If anyone is sick among us, we use the money to get drugs. We don't go out every day. We go to our teacher's farm and help him to work. We don't attend the school built by the government because we were brought here to attend the local Almajiri school.
The locals here are not happy with the Almajiri situation. They say Boko Haram elements could easily take advantage of the boys.
The issue of Almajiri, when we are talking about Almajiri in Islam, Islam does not encourage Almajiri at all. Almajiri has no place in Islam. Islam encourages every person to wake up, work hard, earn your living. It is not ideal for you to get back to children and you scatter them in the street with the name of begging. Islam does not encourage that.
We are not encouraging Almajiri group. This is the sources of Boko Haram initiate. We are not welcoming Almajiri. It's not an Islamic culture. It's not an Islamic foundation. Anybody promoting Almajiri sector is not an Islamic sector.
Oh, Almajiri, this is something of Almajiri. Leaving those children walking about is not in the best interest of Islamic. Because moving around will cause so many problems. People have started to use them. That is what is causing the problem. They are one of the key suspects in this Boko Haram something. People say they are using Almajiri and they are condemning Almajiri. Why? Because people use them.
Only recently, the federal government established a school for Almajiris in several states, including Nasarawa. This is the school, but it is now home to internally displaced persons from Taraba State. So, for now, these children will continue to be on the streets until something is done by the relevant authorities. These children have to go out every day in search of their daily bread. For this 9-year-old, he has not eaten anything since morning. As you can see, his plate is totally empty. And for him, the future doesn't really hold much. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Lafia.
Very touching story there. We'll take another break on CoreTV News. We'll return shortly with more stories outside Nigeria. We'll be back after this time out.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back now. Outside Nigeria, a video released onto the internet claims to show that the group Islamic State have killed or captured U.S. worker Abdurrahman Kasik. In the video, a masked militant standing over a severed head said to be that of Kasik. The aid worker, known as Peter Kasik until his conversion into Islam, was kidnapped in Syria last year. In an October video of the killing of British worker Alan Henning, the group had ended with a threat to Kasik. It was not immediately possible to confirm that Kasik was pictured in the latest video, which also purports to show a group of Syrian soldiers being killed. Abdurrahman Kasik's parents, who live in the U.S. state of Indiana, last month released extracts of a letter written by him in which he told of the strains of captivity. Well, and this is a wrap of CoreTV News at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Bye for now.